As the 2024 to 2025 NBA season has concluded, there are certainly many question marks heading into the 2025 to 2026 NBA season. The Oklahoma City Thunder are coming off their franchise's first NBA championship, but that path seems to only have gotten more difficult. The Western Conference is simply stacked. Aside from the former champions, numerous teams throughout the West truly have a shot to win the conference. Let's dig a little deeper and figure out how good this Western Conference truly is. Rockets. The Rockets have added 15x-time All-Star, MVP, scoring champion Kevin Durant to their young and upcoming roster. Although the departures of Dylan Brooks and Jalen Green will surely be missed, the previous 2 seed in the West now has some very scary potential. They also have brought along Dorian Finney-Smith through free agency and acquired Clint Capella in the first ever 7-team trade in NBA history. KD, Amen Thompson, and Alperen Sengun are one of the favorites for sure to come out of the West. It'll be interesting to see how Ime Udoka can lead this squad to an even better year than last. Lakers. The Lakers last season were the 3rd team in the West after the blockbuster trade with Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis took place. They've acquired DeAndre Ayton in free agency in hopes of finding their force down low and lob threat for Luka. When a team is headlined by LeBron James and Luka Doncic, you for certain always will have a fairly good chance of making a deep run. How will JJ Redick improve this team's defense tenacity, and is DeAndre Ayton all this team was missing? Nuggets. The 4 seed was the Denver Nuggets, and boy did they really have a good chance to upset the favorites as they took the Thunder to 7 games. We talk about a team that improved in free agency, and the Denver Nuggets jumped out more than anyone. Through just free agency, they acquired crucial bench pieces such as Tim Hardaway Jr., who spent his previous season in Detroit, and Bruce Brown is back again for a revenge tour. Through a trade with the Kings, they acquired big man Jonas Valanciunas, who averaged 8.7 points and 7 rebounds his previous year. One thing is for sure, the Nuggets lacked a big body beyond Jokic, and the big move for their offseason came when they sent their wing Michael Porter Jr. to the Nets in return for Cam Johnson. MPJ had what some would call a down year, and in the playoffs it was even worse. The addition of Cam Johnson provides more stability and an improved defensive wing in their starting lineup alongside Jamal Murray, Christian Braun, Aaron Gordon, and of course Nikola Jokic. This team can make some noise against anybody, and they might just be the team everyone is sleeping on. Clippers. The Clippers were the 5th seed, and they've had a meh free agency as of thus far. A key departure for them was the loss of Norman Powell, who was sent to the Miami Heat. It was quite confusing as Powell was coming off a year where he was a borderline all-star, and he seemed to mesh well alongside Kawhi and Harden. They did, however, gain John Collins in the 3-team deal with the Utah Jazz and Miami Heat, and maybe his explosiveness and defensive tenacity is what was missing from this core. Brook Lopez, yes, the sharpshooting big joined the Clippers as well in free agency. It'll be interesting how he plays alongside Ivica Zubac or off the bench for them, but wherever Brook tends to go, he seems to always contribute in some fashion. Is Bradley Beal a potential suitor to replace Powell and what he did last year? Timberwolves. The Minnesota Timberwolves. Where to begin? Yes, they have one of the next faces of the NBA's future in Anthony Edwards, who was an all-star starter this year and averaged 27.6 points, 5.7 rebounds, and 4.5 assists per game. Yes, they did re-sign Julius Randle to a 3-year deal and brought back the 7-foot ball handling Naz Reid on a 5-year deal. But does this team truly have enough to make it through just the teams we've listed so far? They've lost a key piece in Nickeil Alexander-Walker in free agency, alongside big man Luke Garza. So who fills those shoes, at least considering no additions have been made almost halfway through July? DiVincenzo has been a name in recent NBA news that teams have been calling back. We shall see, but I think they are in need of one additional guy. Warriors. Ah, the Golden State Warriors. Yes, still led by the greatest shooter on planet Earth, Stephen Curry. The one thing we learned about this team is Jimmy Butler fits in very easily. Since the trade happened last year, he averaged 18 points, 5.5 boards, and 6 assists per game, and was a crucial part of their team. When Steph got hurt versus the Timberwolves in the playoffs, their chances diminished rather quickly. Kuminga has been a name all over the NBA world as teams are interested in the 22-year-old and his upside, and the Warriors seem interested in moving him. The question is, for what? They are in desperate need of an established big man who can take some of the pressure off Steph and Jimmy. Since Kevon Looney will now be playing his first season away from Golden State this next season, the only true center on their roster is the second-year Boston College big man, Quentin Post. And yes, the name and talent of Steph Curry itself always gives you a chance at a deep run. Grizzlies. The Grizzlies will come into this year after a disappointing last season. Ja Morant couldn't control his antics, injuries, and a surprising coaching fire all took place just last season. The trade that sent their rising star, Desmond Bane, shocked the NBA world. They did receive Cole Anthony, who has shown promise as a contributing factor, but inconsistency seems to be his arch nemesis. KCP joins them as well, ultimately replacing the loss of sniper Luka Kennard. They did re-sign Jaren Jackson Jr., who was coming off an all-star and all-defense year, along with youngin Santi Aldama. If Ja can stay healthy, control his emotions and off-the-court antics. This team has proven they can compete with anyone, and maybe Ja truly will be fine in the West. Kings, the Sacramento Kings. Their previous coach, Mike Brown, recently signed a nice contract to become the new coach of the New York Knicks. Oh yes, we've got another video coming on where this team can be next year. They bring in Dennis Schroeder, who has always been a serviceable guard on any team he joins, and he always plays with an edge that seems to give his guys a boost of energy when in need. Defensively, this team was just simply poor. They have the scorers in Levine and DeRozan, and big man Domantas Sabonis does nearly it all as he averaged 19 points, 14 boards, and 6 assists per game last season. Consistency is key with this team, and honestly, when Sacramento lights the beam, it's better for the league as a whole. Mavericks. Now the most interesting of the bunch, the Dallas Mavericks. When GM Nico Harrison traded away Luka Doncic, the entire sports world was simply stunned. NBA players, NFL players, people across the world blew up Twitter the night the news broke as they thought Shams was hacked. But he wasn't. They still received one of the best big men in the game. Anthony Davis. The 10X All-Star is still as dominant as he always has been, although injuries are this man's worst enemy. Better yet, injuries are the Mavs' worst enemy. This team was banged up very, very badly, and that ultimately was the sole reason they finished 10th in the regular season standings. Although Kyrie won't be healthy for probably at least the first half of the year, he will be around come playoff time. Add Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, Spencer Dinwiddie, Klay Thompson, and recent signing D'Angelo Russell into the mix. And man, is this team deep. Oh yes, wait. They also somehow won the NBA draft lottery with just a 1.8% chance and were gifted by drafting Duke star Cooper Flagg. One of the best prospects basketball has seen gets thrown onto a championship contending team. This team will make some real big noise. This is not a team anyone wants to face come playoff time. Suns. The Phoenix Suns are the next team we will dig deeper into. Although they might be labeled as a championship contender, this team has some interesting pieces that could get them into the playoffs. We all know about the KD departure, and other than that, their only other significant departures were Tyus Jones and Cody Martin. Yeah, nothing too significant. But how did they improve? With the KD trade, they added 23-year-old high-flying Jalen Green and lockdown menace Dillon Brooks. We know Jalen is capable of putting up 20 points per game in this league, and we are even more aware of the presence Brooks holds in this league. The key addition is Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. After a failed trade last season with the Los Angeles Lakers, Mark Williams finds a new home in Phoenix. Hence a lineup of Booker, Jalen Green, Brooks, and Williams amongst the supporting cast of guys like Royce O'Neal. Grayson Allen could make some sort of noise in the West. They also added big man Kaman Malawak with the 10th pick in this year's NBA draft, who will also serve a big role for this team. The big question is, what happens with Bradley Beal Trailblazers? The Portland Trailblazers are simply a young team with promise, but no hope of truly competing in the West. Guys like Scoot Henderson, Denny Avdija, Shaedon Sharpe all made strides in the right direction for what an organization would want. Can the next Jokic ESC type player in Hanson Yang, who they drafted in this year's draft, be a sleeper everyone is sleeping on? They added Drew Holiday but lost Anthony Simmons from the trade with the Celtics that just took place and also lost big man DeAndre Ayton. In 3 to 5 years, this young core could make some real noise, but for now, they will be in the lower half of the West. Spurs. Well, if there's one team the NBA is excited about, it's the San Antonio Spurs. Why? Well, they have one of the most unique and top players in the league, and he's only 21 years old. Yes, that would be Victor Wembanyama. The man is already a star in the league at such a young age, and his supporting cast is quite scary. They have former Kings PG De'Aaron Fox running the show and have the reigning Rookie of the Year in Stephon Castle, who has proven to be an absolute problem on both sides of the ball. You add to this with guys like Jeremy Sochan, Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, all wings who can be a reliable option down the stretch or get scrappy on the defensive end. But it gets better. They were blessed with the 2nd overall pick in this year's draft, where they landed guard Dylan Harper from Rutgers University. Coached by Steve Pickle, this guy seems to be the real deal. But it gets even better. They were lucky enough to also have the 14th overall pick, where they got the Arizona Wildcat wing, Carter Bryant. Carter's a bit more raw, but scouts believe this man will be a real problem in this league. A lineup of Fox, Harper, Castle, Harrison Barnes, Wemby, with the previous players listed before. Yes, they are young. Yes, they don't have the playoff experience generally needed to win a championship. But this team can fight with anyone in the league, and they for sure will not be the 13th seed next year in the West. Pelicans. The disappointing New Orleans Pelicans. Man, there was so much hope and hype around this team when Zion got drafted here. But man, between the injuries and just overall poor play, this team is looking shaky. Yes, they dumped CJ McCollum's salary for Jordan Poole in return, which is an upgrade for sure. Trey Murphy is one of the more underrated players in this league and does not get the recognition he deserves. DeJounte Murray is a more than suitable guard to run the show. But is it enough? You hope Jordan Hawkins can take that next leap this year and hope even more that they nailed the draft like most think they did. Guard Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma was one of the more impressive prospects in this draft, and he can really thrive in an offensive that is in need of a true one center from Maryland. Derek Queen showed a unique ability to finish around the rim throughout his college campaign, and expectations for him are high as well. Another young team with little to no playoff experience, and just not enough to be one of the top dogs in this difficult conference. Jazz. Lastly, the Utah Jazz. Where to even begin? Coming off an impressively bad year only winning 17 games, not much in free agency has been done. Jusuf Nurkic got traded to them, along with Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson. But they lost important scoring options in Jordan Clarkson, one of the best 6 men in all of basketball, big man John Collins, who is now a Clipper, and Collins' section got shipped to Charlotte. The exciting time for Jazz fans is not right now. This is a very young, inexperienced team. Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler are their 2 so-called guys. But both have been involved in trade talks all offseason, and more likely than not, both will get traded as the Jazz are in a full rebuild. Their young guns are Keontae George, Isaiah Collier, and Cody Williams. How consistent can they be, and can any translate to a true 1 or 2 option? The only true excitement comes from their draft picks in Ace Bailey from Rutgers and NCAA champ Walter Clayton Jr. But in good old Jazz fashion, it didn't seem Ace even wanted to get drafted to Utah. Thanks for watching. Who do you think comes out of the Western Conference this year? Feel free to like and comment below. Click that subscribe button to stay on top of all basketball content we have coming your way. Till next time, 94 Feet Breakdown out.